What's up, guys? Welcome back from the MLG studios here in New York City. My name is axeltoss. I am joined by axslav. We just got done casting some awesome 2v2 tournament action where Todd and Grubby showed they are still as cool as when they were awesome in Warcraft 3. But now we're moving on into something a little bit unique and fun, honestly.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and explain what we're doing today, Mr.
Sure.
Axelav?
So, of course, this week is kind of a little bit of a more casual week, as you just talked. We had that 2v2 tournament. Grubby and Todd did win that. Today is going to be basically a casting of the semifinals and finals of the Game Battles Heart of the Swarm Extravaganza tournament. So we've got 3 best-of-3s for you guys. Semifinal A is going to be coming up first. It's going to be RSVP versus Aiur. It's going to be best-of-3. After that, it's going to be semifinal B, which is going to be Monster versus La Tortuga. A little bit of a Breaking Bad fan
You have
there.
a really good memory. You weren't reading that anywhere.
No,
There's no teleprompter.
No. And then, of course, final match, the winner of each best-of-3 will fight each other in the finals, and the winner will take home the trophy winning. So the Game Battles tournament, the way it worked is it was an entry fee, which you could either pay in cash, or if you competed in the free Game Battles tournaments, you would win Game Battles credits, which could then be used instead of the entry fee. And then the winner basically gets all the entry fees combined, and they take home that prize, plus additional Game Battles credits for future tournaments, plus a Game Battles trophy.
And you get to be casted.
That's right.
And if you win
a lot of cool stuff
on camera, you get to be famous, which is huge.
It is.
So, you watching right now, you could potentially play in these tournaments and potentially be featured on air. So, pretty cool opportunity for these 4 guys to get commentated on the big stage, which they're not necessarily going to be used to. Again, no insult to them. It's just a way for these players who are getting involved with these tournaments to get some exposure. Of course, you can play as well. GameBattles.majorleaguegaming.com. We have not only StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm tournaments, there's other games as well. So definitely check that out and find out what you're interested in, and then definitely try to compete in the tournament setting because it's a lot of fun. I promise.
It is. And so the Game Battles tournaments, most of them are no prize except for credits. But then if you do well, you can use those credits instead of the entry fee for the paid tournaments, where then you can win a prize. So it's pretty cool. Good way to get some tournament experience and maybe take home some money. Yeah. But you know what? Why don't we just get started with the first game? So semifinal A. First match is going to be between RSVP and Aiur. The first map is going to be Daybreak. Let's kick this one off.
Let's do it. Of course, this will be a best-of-3 of the first semifinal. The top right-hand location of Daybreak. We have the Blue Protoss player RSVP. You might, if anyone recognizes the name in this tournament, it might be this guy. He does have a relatively strong presence in the North American scene. He's been to a few MLGs. He was on Team Complexity. I'm not sure if he's still on Team Complexity.
He was part of their Complexity Academy.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I actually like similar to what you said. I'm not
right.
Don't know if
I know he's
still
from
is
Canada. I know he's Canadian.
Yes.
I know that much. But definitely has a relatively strong presence in the North American scene. So not too surprising at all to see him playing in a Game Battles tournament. Of course, his opponent in the bottom left-hand location, I'll be honest, I have not heard of this guy, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he does and how far he can get. He is Aiur.
And you know, Aiur, of course, for those of you guys who don't know, is the original Protoss homeworld.
Oh.
According to lore, it was invaded by the Zerg.
Okay.
When Zeratul killed the Cerebit, one of the first Cerebits he killed, he connected with the Overmind. The Overmind learned about the location of Aiur from Zeratul, the little mental connection.
And then they went to go...
Then they
went... spoilers. Should we not spoil?
This is from Brood War, so it's,
okay.
I mean, if you haven't played the Brood War campaign, you should go back and play it, but also, you know, Brood War was an amazing game, but the graphics are a little outdated. So if you're a younger player who's used to all these new games, you may be somewhat disappointed. But I love the retro games. I love the retro stories, especially the StarCraft story. Aiur's a big part of the Protoss history. It's their homeworld.
Of course, I think a zealot, one of their commands or something they say when you click on them is for Aiur.
My life for Aiur.
My life for Aiur.
Some people think they're saying my wife for hire.
Right, that's not what he's saying.
It's not true.
No.
It's not true.
Definitely my life for Aiur. So definitely a big stronghold in the Protoss world. And who knows, maybe the fact that he's named Aiur and he's playing Protoss will give him an advantage. Maybe his troops will work even harder because they are in fact working for Aiur.
You know what?
Right?
So if you're a big fan of the Protoss, you can make your gamer name Aiur. You could also make your car license plate for Aiur.
Yes.
Except that's already
someone
taken.
has done that, I think.
Yep. Jeremy. He lives in the Bay Area.
How do you...
I knew him.
Oh.
He used to play in some of the local events in the Northern California area.
There you go. Love seeing that.
He has a car with a license plate for Aiur, a devotee of the Protoss.
Does he wear a StarCraft shirt to the bars?
He has before.
There you go.
He has before.
That's how you get the females. Or if you're a female, that's how you get the males.
It'll definitely work better if you're a female, trying to get the males.
Yes, I think that is probably true. But let's start talking about this game a little bit.
Let's do it.
So the opening build order's a little bit different. We have 2 gates here for Aiur. I'm sorry. That was not on purpose. RSVP is going 1 gate, and I think he got a Zealot, which is a little bit interesting. We're not seeing a lot of players do that too much. A lot of players going for Mothership Core first and being like, okay, that's all I really want. But we're seeing RSVP adding on a Stargate here, so wanting a little bit of extra stuff to be able to defend in the beginning because he wants to tech fairly quickly. Meanwhile, Mothership Core is on the field for Aiur, and now he's going to send it across the map. He's got 2 Stalkers behind him, so a little bit of pressure. And a 3rd gateway, so he's going to do some 3-gate pressuring. We'll have to see if he expands behind it.
I really like the build RSVP is doing. It's actually the exact build I do a lot.
There you go.
The reason why you want to get that Zealot early for this build is because you have to have the ability to stop probes from walking up your ramp and building pylons. And a Sentry alone can't do that, unless you want to waste the force field.
That's true.
So you need the extra DPS from the Zealot out there. And the Zealot just costs minerals, and you want to be spending all your gas on, of course, the Stargate units and then eventually that Mothership Core as well. The tricky part here is holding the pressure. Right, so the 2nd Sentry should be on time. The 1st Sentry will actually have 2 force fields. That's why you get it so early. So he's going to have 3 force fields available that he can warp in more sentries as he needs. As long as he hits those force fields very well, he should not take damage from this pressure.
It's going to be a lot of units charging up the ramp. We're going to have 3 Stalkers warped, and there's 2. I think the 3rd gateway is just now finishing.
We've seen Huck straight out win games with this pressure before.
And the Mothership Core above. So if he can snipe a Sentry, that could do world of wonders for him. There's a Phoenix here. The 2 Zealots are in hold position. Time Warp going down the force field is good from RSVP, and he even got a probe in his opponent's base that hasn't been spotted, and a Dark Shrine behind this pressure here for Aiur.
What's going to be tricky here, the most important thing from RSVP is scouting. Yes, you can defend the pressure, but if you don't know how your opponent is following up, you're not going to be necessarily ahead, even though they invested in that pressure. Of course, we can see that Dark Templar Shrine is on the way. RSVP needs to send those Phoenixes to counterattack. They're not necessary for defense. He can always warp in more sentries, although he's actually spending a lot of gas on... Actually, he's going to push out here. With the 3 Stalkers he warped in and the 2 sentries, that's enough of a force that he could probably take on Aiur straight up one-on-one.
Right, so I'm a little bit surprised Aiur didn't make a Sentry up here. I mean, something you could potentially do is force field the ramp. Now, one thing that you have to be wary of is if your opponent is going Phoenixes and pick up your Sentries, that can be a recipe for disaster. But I don't know, is that worth it to get a Sentry there just to try to delay your opponent at least a little bit more?
It definitely is if you're going to expand. I don't think he had the gas to warp in that Sentry because he was trying to get that Dark Templar Shrine up as fast as possible along with Blink Tech. But if you want to expand, then you definitely want to contain your opponent for a little bit longer. In this case, though, going straight for Dark Templar, I think RSVP has to suspect this. I mean, he's got the robotics on the way, his opponent backed away. His opponent didn't expand very quickly. His Phoenix has spotted that out. And his opponent, of course, didn't warp in that Sentry like you mentioned. So all those things are cluing him off to the fact that Dark Templar are en route. The trick here is, yes, he's going to defend against the Dark Templar.
Is he, though?
I think he should. I mean, he's got the robotics. He's got, he's built an observer. I don't think he'll take too much damage.
That could be the worst supply
you're
block
right.
of his
The observer's not being produced.
Oh,
this is so
Is he going to target
unfortunate.
the Robo? Wouldn't that be exciting? No. No, he's not going to.
Oh, man.
Take down some probes.
Do you
think he could have killed the Robo if he had...
No.
If he had a second ET?
Yeah, if he had 2, maybe. But of course, he didn't know what supply block it could pop out any time.
Yes, you were
And
correct.
if you just damage the Robo, that's basically wasted damage. You can't finish it off. So this AT was very effective. Yes, it's gonna die, but it got 6 kills there, and it delayed a lot of mining time.
Gosh, look at the harvester count.
Oh my!
29 to 19.
RSVP is in so much trouble.
That's huge.
And it's even worse than that because he actually is at a tech disadvantage for now. In the late game, the Stargate tech's great, but right now against Blink Stalkers, the potential to get Archons and Charge-Lots, the Stargate units are going to be very ineffective at defending a time attack, and Aiur is adding in 3 more gateways, so he's going to be going up to 6 gateways. It's going to be, either Mass Blink Stalker or Charge-Lot Archon or all 3 of those. And I mean, maybe he can hold off Mass Blink Stalker with a couple of Immortals, but as soon as Archons and a superior number of Zealots enter the picture, he's going to be in a world of pain.
I think Aiur is feeling very safe right now. I don't think RSVP has much ability to pressure whatsoever, but...
Just, I mean, light harass.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he had it on 3 gateways is really intriguing to me, because obviously that's going to be a lot of resources on those gateways, which kind of implies you want to either be able to make a lot of units to defend, or you want to end up going across the map and actually pressuring your opponent and actually trying to kill them. So right now he's positioning all of his units on his side of the map, but I could theoretically see him try to push across and really take advantage of all of these, all the production capabilities he has.
Oh yes, adding on 3 more gateways instead of a robotics, stargates, or forge, or third base, he's definitely looking to deny his opponent's expansion, which is the perfect decision. With the amount of damage he's done early on, he could definitely knock out that expansion from RSVP with a well-timed attack. What's key is he's going to need to warp in a lot of Zealots to help buffer for his Archons. The Archons fall down, the Blink Stalkers alone can run into problems as they're not the greatest in his direct confrontation. But given his 6 warp gates, he should be able to warp in plenty of Zealots.
Oh yeah. Now, a minor issue might be actually, hold on, here we go, right to his natural expansion. The Stalkers blinking forward, targeting down the Immortals.
Stalkers are getting massacred,
yeah,
though.
the Zealots chopping them up quite a bit. The Archons trying to make themselves useful, making their way up to the front here, targeting down those sentries. But again, he had a lot of Stalkers that aren't there anymore.
He did. I really think he needed to wait for some more Zealots. He still might be okay because he has so many Warpins at his disposal, but the fact of the matter is he has no Zealots.
Yeah.
This is a composition that needs Zealots. That's why they call it Charge Lot Archon. They don't call it Stalker Archon. Yeah, because Archons in the front, they go down quickly, as we saw. And this turned in from a game Aiur had a great counter build, but he just overextended a little bit. RSVP punished him for that.
Yeah. And
now I'd say RSVP has the lead. Without those Archons, the Zealots alone can be easily picked off by those Phoenix.
I feel like if he waited like another 30 seconds, wait for a couple Zealot warp-ins, and then you push in. First of all, he'd be hitting it, with those Zealots, and then also the Mothership Core from his opponent was actually pretty delayed, because I think RCP was trying to prioritize production, which means he got his Mothership Core out, but it was only at about 80 energy when it would have hit, so no ability to photon overcharge. So I feel like Aiur overstepped a little bit. That might have been RSVP's doing, though, kind of stepping out of his natural and choosing the engagement for his own. He wanted that engagement to happen right there before all the Zealots could be added on.
I think Aiur really thought RSVP, like you said, would be back in his natural. He could kind of take the ground in front, wait for some warpins, and then go, and he's going to keep trying to attack. But he doesn't have the high Blink Stalker count anymore, and he doesn't have those 2 very important Archons. So it's going to be very difficult to come in here. Photon Overcharge is definitely going to force him back, and now Aiur is stuck in a tough spot. He has 2 decisions. 1, wait for a lot of warpins, wait for Photon almost getting a Mothership Core.
The Mothership Core, down it goes.
Nice pickoff there for Aiur.
It's a lot of Immortals, though. What are the 2 options there, Nick?
So 1 is to just keep warping guys in, wait for the Photon Overcharge to wear off, then go in, or he could just take a third base, resume probe production, get his gases. Okay, he's getting both his gases now.
He's not proceeding his tech at all, though.
He isn't. I mean, right now, if he wants to play macro game, he should start third base. His advantage is all the warp gates, his production, disadvantage his tech. He needs extra economy to counteract tech. So he definitely wants to take a third base if he wants to continue in a longer game. Maybe a third base, or he could do double Stargate.
Yeah.
That could be a weird kind of tech transition.
He's getting charged.
Double Stargate, though, would be pretty risky, because if RSVP found it, he could definitely maintain his air advantage that he already has.
I think he really wants to end this game, man. I mean, he's not taking that third. He's not adding on any additional tech. He's just adding on charge, which, again, is mainly to supplement his existing standing army. So I feel like he's just going to... It could, but we're going to have to see how RSVP responds. He's going to be sending Phoenixes to his opponent's main base. Goodbye, probes. Not even any units to help this out. Also, a couple Zealots running into the natural expansion, so RSVP trying to do that economic damage. Meanwhile, Aiur saying, all right, I'm going to attack you now. Gateway trying to be thrown down here by RSVP. There is a DT in the mix as well. Photon Overcharge is not just now available onto the Nexus. He has yet to deploy it, though. The Zealots coming forward. Charge is not yet done, but Aiur trying to break through.
Oh, great force field locks off almost all the Zealots, and that's why you really need those Archons there. Not only to supplement the damage, but also to step on those force fields. So many Zealots going down before they can swing a blow, and now a great flank by RSVP with the warp and the Zealots on the right side. He's going to force Aiur back, and combined with the economic damage he did with those Phoenixes, he's in such a commanding position.
Charge just finished after all the Zealots are dead. Also, we had a Photon Overcharge available there from RSVP that he simply did not use. He didn't even need it. And now he has a pretty scary unit composition. He's up 90 to 71 in supply. And I don't know what's going to stop this force. If we're thinking about, okay, what options does Aiur have? All right, all he can really do, all he probably wants to do is just add on Archons and charge loss. But think about PvP nowadays in Heart of the Swarm, you're always going to have that Photon Overcharge available generally, which is going to buy you more time. So as a defender, you're going to be in a little bit better shape, you know, if you're down versus in Wings of Liberty where you're just going to die. So I'll have to see if Aiur can pull out some magic to defend this this follow-up counterattack from RSVP.
The one thing I'm a little bit worried for RSVP is his Zealot count isn't that high in the counterattack, and now actually Aiur has a reasonable composition. He's got a mixture of Zealots and Archons. If he can warp in 6 more Zealots, he may have the army it takes to destroy RSVP's army. Photon Overcharge is so useful in a situation. I don't think RSVP should be attacking here. I don't think he can actually break that. The Immortals and the Stalkers, the range DPS he had was great when it was behind his own Nexus, and Aiur couldn't get the Zealots into the battle. But here in the open field, the Charger Archon composition is going to be very, very strong. Remember, the last battle, RSVP won so convincingly because there were no Archons in the mix, and now there's 4 of them. 5!
Yeah, I don't see this working.
I
Obviously,
actually see Aiur making a comeback here.
Potentially. I mean, he's Photon Overcharge right now. That's what RSVP is waiting for to expire, and then he's probably going to push in. But again, this unit composition is pretty ridiculous from Aiur. He has 5 Archons, adding on a 6th, a bunch of charge loss. So here RSVP comes. Guardian Shield going down. Zealot's trying to make the way forward, but here comes the charge loss from Aiur, sprinting forward, trying to get that damage done. So many Archons in the base as well, and RSVP saying, never mind, let me back up, trying to get himself a concave, and the Archon's going to have a hard time making their way through that, and RSVP is just going to back away. Aiur with a supply lead now.
He is. I'm actually a little surprised Aiur let him back away. Yes, it was a bad choke to find him, but he actually, I mean, it would have been the ideal position, but with the army compositions taking a fight, he would have won it no matter the position, but he's going to RSVP back away. RSVP is doing a great job with his Phoenix harass. The problem is that the pros aren't that essential as the main is being mined out anyway. The key thing here, who can take and defend a third base? We see RSVP on the right side is taking it. If Aiur finds it, though, I don't know if he can defend it.
This composition is pretty terrifying from Aiur. And if I'm RSVP, I'm thinking, okay, how do I deal with Charge Lot Archon at this point in the game? If you're taking a third base, that you're just creating more area for yourself to defend.
Oh, with the Phoenixes, they're going to fly right over the army.
None are going to die.
There's the blink. Wow, how did nothing die?
Phoenixes are fast.
But look at their life. The damage was spread perfectly. That all of them lost their shields. It was like the perfect damage spread. That was kind of...
All right, so he's getting a robotic space. I like that decision, but does he have enough time to get a Colossus out? Obviously, Colossus would be nice against this Archon charge lot composition, but there's no way he defends this third, first of all.
That's being canceled. But I like what he's doing with the natural. He's getting 2 extra photon cannons, getting 2 gateways helpful. And this is, I mean, if Aiur tries to attack this, we'll see, even with the Archons, that is not a position you can break. Photon overcharge, double cannons, gateway wall.
Aiur,
come at me, bro.
It's okay to take a third Aiur. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Where's his... I don't know.
Yeah, he really should be backing away, taking
a third, right?
I mean, maybe he can do some damage to the Stalkers, but not with Photon Overcharge there. Actually, if his Blink Micro is perfect, he could actually still get in there and pick off some things, but it would be very minimal damage. It's almost not worth the effort. It's best to focus on the strategic decisions at this point. Really just contain your opponent, take that third base. And I would even back up a little bit, because this close to your opponent, it means you have to have your attention on your army, right? The instant Aiur looks away from his army, RSVP could be poking at him with potential Colossus could walk out. Oh, he's actually going in.
Oh, he's going for it. Photon Overcharge is still going to be there. The Colossus has now joined in the fray.
The Archons can't even shoot.
There's not enough room for them to maneuver, taking down a gateway. Stalker's blinking to the side. RSVP has the supply lead. I think this is a suicidal move for Aiur.
He's charging in. His troops are yelling for Aiur.
It's not going to work.
But this is just as basically useful as their defense of their homeworld when the Zerg invaded. They're being slaughtered.
GG from Aiur.
Wow.
What a back and forth game that was.
Aiur really didn't want a third base.
No.
He's like,
I want to win.
I'm going to make it happen on 2, baby. And doesn't always work. Doesn't always work
that way. Got to be patient sometimes in the game of StarCraft 2. I think there are plenty of times where I think he could have simply just backed up, taken a third, gotten his economy pretty well off and then you know, have a convincing lead. And of course, at that point, you can deny your opponent from taking a third.
Yep.
Whereas if it's like you're staying on 2 bases, your opponent could just stay on 2 bases, tech up a little bit, get this Colossi out, and you're trying to attack a nicely defended position that's completely walled off by gateways and cannons. Even Photon overcharges there as well. And then again, the Colossus just killing everything from way above. So tough game there from Aiur, but I think he still has a chance to win this best of 3.
He does. You know, that's actually a point I've gone over in about 18 different rules of engagement episodes. Is when you're a little bit ahead, but you're not strong enough to kill your opponent, just get a base up and deny them. The key point is denying their expansions. You can't sit back and macro. I mean, you do want to sit back and macro, but you also want to make sure they can't macro up to compete with you. But charging in like that on 2 bases isn't always the greatest idea. Yeah. He did lose that game, but there was moments where he was winning. He definitely had his chances to win. We'll see if he seizes those chances in game number 2.
I think he definitely has a chance to come back and make something happen. Don't count Aiur out. RSVP, though, he's currently up 1-0 in this best of 3. This is semifinal number 1 of Heart of the Swarm Game Battles Extravaganza. You can play at gamebattles.majorleaguegaming.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back with game 2 in just a bit.